Okay guys, today we are at this very special residence over here called CloudTree Residence, and now I'm very excited to review this one because it's actually located on a hill of Cheras itself. So a very elevated area. Let's go check this place out. Okay, now as always, before we go into the premise itself, just to do a bit of an aerial check, this location over here, you can see not much double car park because it's actually in a very secluded part of town. So this is actually a very nice location, especially for the own stay market, because not much noise. And just look at this, very wide entryway to a pretty nice guardhouse area over here. As you can see, the first thing you notice is also a roundabout area that you can straight away get into the visitor area. Okay, so right behind me, this is actually the block called Felicia, and this over here actually consists of 5 blocks in total. I don't really know all their names, but basically this one is Felicia. But one thing before we go into the premise over there, I just want to point this out, right, because there's actually abandoned development right in front of your development itself. So now this one over here, as you can see, right, is pretty in a very sus condition, no longer operating, and yeah, I feel like that should be actually addressed very soon because you don't want to have people over here mingling around. Okay, as you can see, there are going to be some features over here that emulates birds, right? But if you hear closely, there are actual birds also on this as well. Now, of course, this is 7 years old development, right? So the maintenance over here can be done slightly better, and you're always going to see wear and tear across the development. And now this development, right, if I'm not mistaken, is actually by a boutique developer called Zalam, which is only a one-time developer. So obviously, this is the first development, and apparently the last. Okay, there's also a very sizable multi-purpose hall over here, which I was also told that is going to couple as a badminton court over there. Now this one over here, my belief is that over time, they want to host their EGM or AGM or whatnot. They can do it over here, or if you have wedding events, you can just book this place. And of course, this place is actually fully AC, and it's pretty decent, pretty nice place. Okay, so now this is next to the multi-purpose hall, and you can see there's actually 2 sizable badminton court over here, and on top of that there's even a basketball court, a half-size basketball court with the metal railing over here to prevent the ball from coming up. Now just now I made that shot over here and the ball is stuck, so sorry. And this side over here, you actually have the ping pong table. So I like the fact that they actually kind of confine the place a little better so that it doesn't disrupt the games coming together. So if you're playing badminton over here and playing ping pong over there, you will not disrupt the players from actually stopping them from playing the balls. Right after the badminton court, you can see instantaneously that this particular location was actually designed as like a villa concept. I love the fact that over here, you can see this is supposed to be like a Zen garden, and of course, because this development over here is actually 11 acres large, So obviously to maintain a property to proper level of the first development phase, right, is going to be a bit challenging, but I still see the elements that were put over here with the gravel stones and all these plants over here, right. My belief is that when it was initially first launched, right, this place must look beautiful. As you can see over here, CCTVs are still up there intact, but are they operating or not? I'm not too sure. But let's go check this place out because the facility floor, I was told, is also massive with multiple swimming pools. Let's go. And we are now at the beautiful lap pool over here. And as you can see, this lap pool also couples as an infinity pool because it views on the similar side to the gym. Now, more importantly, as I mentioned many times, right, this swimming pool over here, if you stand on this particular direction, it also faces the beautiful greeneries on that direction over there. So if you're having your own swim, you're having your own good time, especially at night, right, that view and that breeze alone is going to be insanely beautiful. Now what's next to me is actually the wanding pool, or the kids pool basically. Now this one over here, right, what is rather odd is that both sides of the condominium can actually access this as like a common or public space. So basically that part of the townhouse over there actually has their own facility, own swimming pool, but they can access on this side over here, which basically causes the residents that reside on this particular block to be a little bit unhappy because, why I'm paying facility fee or maintenance fee for the people that can actually use over here. Whereas that side over there, if this block want to go there, cannot go on. So this is more of like a common area between both adjacent plot of properties by the same development, by the same project itself. So the residents on that side over there actually also have their own swimming pool and their own facility, but if they want more, they can actually access over here with their access card. So causing these residents over here to be a little bit not so on a sour note. On top of that, right, if you look at the facade of the building itself, right, that over there is water damages, that over there is not so pretty in that sense lah. So the entire development could use a bit of a fresh coat of paint, because obviously as a 10 years development, soon to be 10 years development, you're obviously going to have wear and tear lah, especially Malaysia's weather condition. Paint over here gets a little bit trickier. Despite the fact, right, I mentioned that it's almost 1 decade old, this jacuzzi over here still actually runs and is functioning. So if you want to enjoy yourself, I know it's not hot, but it's at least working in terms of the bubbles, right? So actually not too bad, the maintenance over here. Okay, now this is the infinity pool of the other block. Now this is block A over here, and also I was told previously, before this development over here actually started, right, this side over here had a very beautiful greeneries. It's like a mini forest that is all the way up here lah. But now, of course, with empty plot of land in Klang Valley, you're surely going to see development. So this side, the view no longer that nice, and of course, you're going to have a bit of construction noise all the way from 9 AM to like 6, 7 PM-ish. So you'll hear gong, gong, gong. So people that are staying over here viewing this direction, you're going to lose a bit of your own view lah. But I must say that the swimming pool over here with the infinity look-alike, pretty good. Okay, now this is the 5th floor, which has one particular commercial area lah, basically a SOS Mart over here. So for like your daily quick bites and whatnot, you can get them over here. But the more important thing I want to point out is that this elevation over here, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, these are all the facility deck itself. And I love the fact for some of the residents over here that went for the lower rise, like terrace houses, right, this view over here actually gives you that view of what CloudTree was trying to impose lah. So you see all these trees over here, right, which is basically almost similar to your eye level. This is actually what they wanted to name it after. So the entire CloudTree concept came because of this over here. It's a bit of an industrial element, and of course the greeneries, that landscaping that kind of combines them together lah. So this development over here gives you that vibe that you're really like in this hutan, kind of a little bit like a forest reserve kind of property over here. As you can see, landscaping across the entire development, and with that view alone, right, beautiful. And now we are at the gym room over here. As you can see, equipment-wise is actually very full. You basically got everything. And as always, let's just check out the dumbbells for us. It's all the way up to 25 kilos, pretty standard across every single condo. Now, one thing I like about this is the incorporation of natural sunlight coming in, and also because this over here actually has a very nice sliding door, which allows natural air to come in as well. So if you come over here, basically the natural air will go all the way inside over here, making the place not so smelly lah, of course, because some people gym already banyak busuk. Tapi this one okay lah, I guess. Look at this. I love the fact that the view is always this direction, which is basically quarter empty, no empty lands, so that means no new developments to block your view in that sense lah. Okay, in the very small and little commercial podium over here, you actually have yoga classes, and also for the ladies that love Pilates classes. Oh dang. So this is very interesting. The commercial podium over here actually allows you to do so. And of course, the classes over here starts from 200 ringgit for 2 packs. So it's actually okay lah. The pricing is like standard in the market. I've not done it before. But yeah, for the ladies out there that like Pilates or other commercial condos that actually wants to do certain things like such, you could do so. A rather confined space for you to do it. Now typically I wouldn't recommend people having this natural wood over here, especially because Malaysia's weather is very moist, right? But the fact for this over here for a 7-year-old condo is actually not too bad. You can see from this eye level over here, none of them are really popping up too much or not too crazy lah. Because the other condos that we've been to so far, sometimes it's just like all the way out already, which is scary and dangerous for the kids. Now, EV charging wasn't really much a thing 7 years ago, but this condo over here has really implemented that, which I think more condos are starting to do so, especially on the secondary market as well. Depends on the management. So that's the reason why I always put emphasis, right? Older condos can still be very good, assuming if your condo manager does their job correctly lah. Now the case for this one over here is actually not too bad. Okay, so we just walked past the car park area to a connective bridge to the other side of the block over there. Now before we actually go to that side, I just want to point out these crawlers and cripplers over here. This is beautiful. Now this can only be achieved over time lah, when the condo actually matures and age a little bit, where the crawlers actually come up and just kind of encapsulate the entire metal fencing over there, it kind of gives you a very, very nice vibe. Just look at this. Beautiful, guys. Okay, now this is for the respective block on its own right, and you got to say that the landscaping over here is actually rather decent, because this one over here actually also allows you to go on the other side, which is just not where we were at lah. Basically, the multi-purpose hall, all those other areas in that junction over there. So as you can see, that side a little bit more elevated, this side a little bit more towards the downside, but this one faces the other side of the view, which is the Cheras South area lah. So to me, landscaping over here is acceptable. Okay, so now we are walking into the Astoria block over here, which is one of the 4 blocks that we have lah. But let's go check this one over here, because I think the lift lobby itself gives you the element of this Zen vibe lah. Obviously, there's going to be pebble stones over here, and walking inside there is all fully functional with aircon. Very nice. So in the lift lobby itself, you actually have 14 feet in width. So basically, you want to move big things, right? No issues over here. And you also have 2 service lifts and 1 mobile lift lah. So I think it's rather okay, because it's still a rather low dense development. Let's go check this place out. Okay, so this is also 8 feet in width. So basically, if you want to move things or big furnitures, right, no issue over here. And I like this. I don't like when it's very cramped or 6 feet, right? Basically gives you that very big kind of feel. And this one over here, I like the fact that there's a void that allows natural air to come in. But this, as I mentioned, right, is a bit on the lower end. So for the children running around, can be a little bit dangerous because it's easy to climb above lah. So I hope that this actually comes up a little bit higher, but beyond that, it's actually not too bad. Okay, so that's pretty much it of this particular condo review at CloudTree. Now this property, as I mentioned, is located at Cheras, more towards Alam Damai or more towards Kajang area already for the most part lah. And I got to say, this particular development over here, to me, I quite like it because it's situated on the top of the hill over here, and it's a rather secluded area, so it means that you don't get much noise over here. There's not much commercial activities happening in this part of town also. And if you want to go to like Eco Cheras, which is like the closest mall, it's not too bad. It's about like 15 minutes drive. And if you want to go into like TRX City Centre, whatnot, it's actually not too bad lah. So personally, if you want to be in Cheras area, want to have a pretty decent house, right, I think you can consider this one over here. But if you are looking for something that is a bit well maintained or whatnot, this one over here, as you can see from the entire video, maintenance could be a little bit better to my liking lah. Personally, I feel that the maintenance over here, especially from the walls, and also if you look at the leakings, they are already being addressed, but they need to put on a fresh coat of paint to kind of make sure that it looks prettier lah. Beyond that, to me, I think location-wise, as I mentioned many times, is a bit more secluded. So if you want to come back home from a long day of work, it's also quite a drive lah. But if you're staying here and you work from home often, I think this is something that you can consider. Very quiet, very serene place. And as always, if you like contents like such, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.